How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lo4f, and yeah, just thought I'd do another quick mission since I already had the footage for this one. The mission's called Broken Bridge. I did it earlier just to it helps just the flow of the map really. I'll go on the thing and I'll show you. So yeah, it's another mission, not a contract. It's just kind of sorting little things out so it makes the contracts easier. And yeah, out of two bridges, one of them is out, and you can actually get the materials for it from this warehouse, but at the minute there's only two warehouses available, that one and the one near the garage. And yeah, if I want to get materials from there, it's just a lot of snaking around. So you've got that warehouse as well. So I'm going to go down there, cut through the trees, grab the stuff I need, which is one metal beam and one concrete block. But the mission is like in a staged thing, so it's not showing you the concrete block yet. But yeah, once I've got it done, I can just get over to the left hand side of the map easier. You can go along these roads, but it ends up being all wiggling around through the island, so it just sort of smooths that out, or you can go on the south roads. Also, like when I unlock the gateway to Burned Forest that's at the top of the map, it just kind of is a nice easy flowing road from that gateway to the garage and vice versa. So as someone said, even though there's not a garage on Burned Forest, because you can just kind of spawn at this garage and then yeah, once that bridge is built, etc., it's like just a pretty straight simple drive there. It's not as bad, even though it's still a pain when you got to recover vehicles because you have to keep going through the loading screen each time. But yeah, I see what he's saying. It's not like you have to go rallying on a full off-road course just to get to the other map from this garage, so it helps it a little bit. And yeah, for this mission I chose the Bandit for this one, so we've got Bandit and Lo4f. You can see, one, I just clipped the edge of the barrier there, it deleted me pretty good. Yeah, the turning circle on this Bandit, I remember it before. I always try and use this Bandit. It's one of those trucks that I'd really like. I want to like it. I'd happily drive it quite a lot. It ticks a lot of the boxes. I can fit a Lo4f on the roof. It's got a roof rack. It's got a pretty small fuel tank, but again, got a goddamn horse for me. Yeah, it's got the Bandit crane, which is easily at the minute I'd say the best crane in the game, even out of the small ones and the big ones. It can have a sideboard. It's got all various different add-ons it can have. I believe as well I can even tow a trailer behind it, even though I've got a crane and a sideboard. So again, it's the triple that you want, the kind of crane, sideboard and a trailer. So yeah, it ticks a lot of boxes. It's just, well, one, the turning circle's pretty terrible, but I can live with that. If you're going off-roading, you don't tend to notice that as much. But it's just like, you can see how boaty it is. It's quite a good, like, you can see the crane and like versus how much the Lo4f is boating all over the place, and that's because you can tell like the front cab rotates on the chassis. It just flops side to side like a boat. And even though the sideboard is connected to like the same chassis and everything, just for some reason the front half of this truck wibbles and wobbles around like crazy, and the suspension's really spongy. Yeah, got to this warehouse, got, was it, sorry, metal beams. Again, just make sure you don't put small pipes in instead. That's what she said. Yeah, just because they look very similar, like they don't really have like a trapezium shaped stacking thing with the small pipes. They actually quite easily mistake them for the metal beams. And then, as I said, as it's a staged mission, because you're building a bridge, it doesn't actually show up like, if you go and look in the menu, it'll tell you need both, but yeah, at the minute in the top right it doesn't actually say I need the concrete blocks. So I know for this mission I only needed 3 lots of materials. I was considering I could have taken Bruce because he's got like the 3-slot sideboard, or the Paystar, but I used the Paystar the other day. Bruce, it seemed like a bit of a waste on this mission really, because I knew it'd end up being a pretty quick simple mission in the scheme of things. And the fact that this has got a high range gearbox in it, and I'm pretty much road driving, so it was just a chance to drop the hammer. I could have used something like the GMC MH9500 or whatever it is, the one that used to be a highway truck really, but then they added, was it all-wheel drive, or yeah, I think it was all-wheel drive, and now it's kind of like it's actually a pretty decent off-roading vehicle for what it is. It's not like up with the top end trucks, but not far off, especially it's good for the money. But yeah, since I kind of know that I'm not a massive fan of this truck really, just because it always tips too much and all the rest of it, I kind of figured for the most part this is not a whole lot of off-roading going on, so I shouldn't really get bitten with the what the Bandit usually doesn't tip on me. Again though, sort of using the Lo4f and the crane as a measuring stick, you can see how much the front of the chassis just flops around everywhere. Yeah, so like I say, it was just a good reason to use the truck, really, kind of get it used up on a bit of a smaller mission. And as I said, I've done one or two of the contracts, I believe. Yeah, I did too. I'm not like the service centre and so on, the garage. I suppose at the minute, like tonight, well, for the first half of the night I was testing out bugs. I kind of mentioned that in the previous video I've just done, because yeah, since yesterday and this morning and all that, I keep getting blue screened on the game. I've kind of figured out, for the most part, how to avoid it. Preferably don't switch phases or anything, that seems to trigger it quite a lot. And then yeah, I wanted this bridge built preferably because the contracts that I'm going to do pretty soon, where you got to deliver a load of water, and it's quite a lot of water you got to deliver, considering I think usually the tanks on the truck hold about 1800, the trailer I believe holds 2000, or you've got the big semi-trailer which holds, I know it was over 3000, I can't remember if it was 3200 or 3400 or 3800. More, definitely, but doing those contracts, like the rail yard needs nearly 13,000 litres of water, the 3 little warehouses you've got to put out, they need between them over 13,000 litres of water, so even doing like a road train with 2 semi-trailers, I'm going to have to do a couple of trips. So yeah, that's why preferably I'd at least rather get this bridge built, so even though it is a bit of a trek to do, I can like cut out some of it by just going along this flowing road. Plus near this bridge there is actually a water tower as well, so yeah, it just kind of makes sense. Like I said, I suppose I'm sort of doing a little bit of map admin to kind of get it all running a bit smoother for the for when I start the contracts, which are obviously usually a bit bigger, more in-depth missions. Going across the old roundabout there. The rule is once you're on it, you just plough straight across it, as straight as possible. That is the goal. Might be a good thumbnail opportunity though. So yeah, like I say, this bridge is technically 2 bridges. One side is already built, but this one isn't. And there's not really an easy crossing. I ended up drowning the Zik 605R nearly twice, I think, on my exploration video, just essentially crossing the little gap there instead. So yeah, when you drop the metal beams off, you get like the first animation, which is sort of building all the framing of the bridge. I just had to quickly go out and pack that cargo from the way I was loading it. Yeah, you can see that. I don't normally notice it, especially with single slot cargo, but when I loaded that, actually, you can see the suspension. It's just so squidgy on this truck. But yeah, drop that concrete blocks off, and then yeah, it does the second animation, builds the bridge, you get some free tarmac on top of it. Reward wise, yeah, 4,500 or something. I'm not really bothered about that, it's just mainly the fact that it opens up the road to the gateway, which again I've not unlocked yet. You have to do a mission for that. And someone did say in the comments you do have to deliver it to like the side of the gateway on Burned Forest, so I think they found out the hard way. Yeah, don't take everything to like this side of the gateway, otherwise you'll just have to transport it a lot further. Yeah, going for a thumbnail, they always put something in the way, like there's now them wire cables. Recently, it's a right nightmare for that. Anyway, that's about it for today though. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, thanks to my Patreon members. Get yourself a loaf because he's a beast, and I'll be back soon.